आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
The 20th of February 1868 was the day when the paper Amrita Bazar Patrika was first published in undivided Bengal's Jessore district. The paper was published by two brothers, Shishirghosh and MotilalGhosh. In 1871, the paper shifted its base to Kolkata. Its sharp criticism of the British was making the colonial government uncomfortable.
In 1878, the British enacted a draconian law called the Vernacular Press Act to curtail criticism of the government in the local language press. One publication that refused to stop was the Amrita Bazar Patrika. The day after the act was promulgated, the newspaper started publishing only in English and continued to challenge the colonial government. The legendary Amrita Bazar Patrika and its journalists were at the forefront of India's struggle for independence and early proponents of the concept of press freedom.
In addition to this, the paper raised money to fight sedition cases against BalGangadharTilak and strongly objected to Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose's expulsion from the then-Calcutta's Presidency College. After the retirement of Shishirghosh, his son TusharKantiGhosh took over in 1931. He was arrested for criticising the biased judicial system of the British.
In 1946, the newspaper left its front page blank for 3 days to oppose the horrific communal violence that had engulfed Kolkata ahead of the Partition of India. The paper finally shut its press in 1991 after a run of 123 years. And it was on the 20th of February 1947 that Clement Attlee declared that the British would quit India by June 1948.
On February 20th, 1947, British Prime Minister Clement Attlee announced in the House of Commons the decision of the British government to transfer power to responsible Indian hands by a date not later than June 30th, 1948. The Prime Minister and the Secretary of State, who made an identical statement in the House of Lords, expressed the government's regret that continuing differences among the Indian parties prevented the transfer of power.
His Majesty's government will have to consider to whom the powers of the central government in British India should be handed over on due date, whether as a whole to some form of central government for British India or in some areas to the existing provincial governments or in such other ways as may seem most reasonable and in the best interests of the Indian people.
The arrival of Mountbatten as Viceroy, with orders to wind up what remained of the British administration in the next 14 months, gave a sharper edge to the British government's purpose. However, on the 3rd of June 1947, Mountbatten declared that the British would leave India sooner, on the 15th of August 1947.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.